You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Mr. Dan Farris on a Monday. Good day to you, sir.
Holy cow, shaking off all the glitter that is the Christmas celebration and walking into a white wonder something or another.
Exactly. Right. We went from like a week ago, we were out like people mowing lawns, and now there's like shoveling and scooping.
And it's just going to keep going and going and going. It's awesome.
Winter is here, though.
Who would be celebrating a birthday today? Stan Lee. He brought us the Marvel Universe.
Did. He seemed like a neat guy.
Pretty nifty.
I like how he used to do all the cameos where he'd like be a character in one of the movies.
Oh, and then the recent Avenger movies and stuff like that. Yeah. He had a great sense of humor and left the planet back in 2018.
Wow.
John Legend, who's on The Voice and all that stuff. Was he last year's People's Sexiest Man Alive? Somehow or not?
I remember Heidi said she disagreed, but
she strongly
I do disagree.
And again, she is married to me, so you know
the bar's pretty high.
I know.
Bar's pretty high, and until John Legend starts shuffling around in Crocs and socks, he ain't.
Yeah.
He just isn't going to measure up.
I was shoveling my sidewalk yesterday in Crocs.
He's 42 today. And I don't know why this surprises me, but it does. Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Born this day. He's 66.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he seems so young.
He's one of those actors that always hits me as he's always in his mid-40s.
Yeah, but he always has been.
Yeah.
Like, from
That's
the
what
beginning.
I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when he was a kid, he was in his mid-40s.
Son of a gun. Let's see. It was, holy cow, this is pretty amazing. 1612 this day. The first recorded observation of the planet Neptune.
Really?
Galileo spots it, actually records it as a large fixed star, not realizing that it in fact is a planet.
Nice.
A fun side note here, without Galileo, Queen would have had to rewrite Bohemian Rhapsody.
They would have
Yes, they would have. It wouldn't have been the
It's
same.
all connected.
It really is.
All connected. 1846, salute south of the border to Iowa. Iowa becomes the 29th state in the Union.
Nice.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, the Iowa state animal, the state tree, the state flower, and the state bird are all corn. And in 1972, Adolf Hitler's deputy chump, super Nazi, Martin Bormann's skeleton is found in Berlin. 1972, making him the winner of the World War II hide-and-seek competition. I know, now you know, and we can just stumble forward and see what happens.
And we'll do exactly that. It is the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Mr. Dan Farris, brought to you by SiouxEmpireJobs.com.
Want to save money? Take the BetterCreditCards.com challenge. It's simple and free, and you could save money every single month. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and see what you get for points or perks. Then go to BetterCreditCards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you get a better credit card. Do it today. BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
Time now for Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
Well, I'm rough, tough, and ready. I'm a heck of a man. Eat my beans and weenies from a frying pan.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves to wrestle bears and lasso ducks. Run over possums in my government truck.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves all the campers and the animals, too. If you're picking on critters, I'm coming after you.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir. I'm Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Happy Monday morning salute off the well-starched brim of the Ranger Dan cap to you, too. Hey, Gene Heidi.
Ranger Dan.
I'd just be flat out honest here. If I was a cat, I'd spend all 9 lives with you.
I like that.
Meow.
Meow.
Oh, jumping in the mailbag this morning because, well, why not? What the heck? It's a pretty sweet little letter from one of my little radio rangers here. Dear Ranger Dan, I am 9 years old, and I love the show. Critter Corner is the best. I really learn a lot about critters.
Nice.
Also, my mom thinks you're ruggedly handsome. Anyway, sometimes I research some of the critter knowledge you share, and I'm wondering if it's always totally accurate, or maybe you have sources that I simply can't find. For instance, last month you mentioned during Critter Corner that all clownfish are male.
Yeah.
And that only a select few will actually change into what's known as a dominant female clownfish.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find anything on that.
Huh.
Could you please share how you know that?
Yeah.
Thanks, Ranger Dan. You're a true national treasure. Your biggest fan, Elliot Lindquist.
Nice. Wow.
Appreciate the letter, Elliot. First off, Elliot, nobody likes an overachiever. But, seems how you take the time to write, it is a fact, according to, and you can look it up, Elliot, write it down. According to a website I found somewhere, and marine biologists, fish scientists, all clownfish are, in fact, born male. When the dominant female in a clownfish hierarchy or a specific school, dies, the dominant male in that specific clownfish school will morph itself into a female.
Really?
Now, to put this into layman's terms that you'll understand, Elliot, this is why in the movie Finding Nemo, Ellen DeGeneres as Dory spends all her time hanging around with Nemo. It's not just his little fin that's getting smaller, if you know what I mean.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, I'm not even sure how that film got a G rating. Glad I could clear that up for you, Elliot.
I don't think that's accurate.
Tell your mom hey for me. Until next time, this is Ranger Dan out. Say it with me. Yes, sir.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Time now for Water Cooler Talk with Mr. Dan Farris. It's brought to you by Lukewarm Tap Water.
Tap water. A couple things to note this morning. Great Bear opens today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, after December with absolutely no snow on the ground. They've been making snow. Now they're getting snow. So
I was out there one day.
You were, yeah.
Maybe
the past couple weeks.
A week before Christmas, maybe. And I was picking up the gift cards that we gave away. A huge thank you to Great Bear for that and everybody that participated in the great big gift card giveaway. But we, when I was out there, they had a little bit of snow on the hills, but they said, we can't keep up. It's just melting too fast. So we don't know when we're going to open. So today is the day, though. Huh?
Today they are opening for biz today. So you've been chomping at the bit to get going down them hills. Well, there you go. Also, now that Christmas Day is behind us, maybe you're wondering to yourself, what do I do with this Christmas tree?
Yeah, what do you do?
Well, you got to get rid of it somehow. There are actually 2 Christmas tree drops. And again, let's clarify, real trees.
Yeah. Not the artificial ones.
Although I don't know if they'd stop you.
Yeah.
On the east side of town, it's at 1015 East Chambers Street.
Isn't that like at the bottom of the hill by John Morrell, kind of off cliff?
No idea. Sure, why
pretty
not?
Sure it is.
Why not?
Sure, why
yeah, I think
not?
it's down in the little city park area, the Woody Parks and Rec office.
West side location, and I think this is pretty much every single year, 100 North Lyon Boulevard. Now, if you are going to drop your tree off, please segregate the flocked trees. The flocked trees.
The ones that have been sprayed white?
Or you can do what I do, and this was years ago. I want to say it was probably 2006 or 7. I left my tree up till after April Fool's Day.
Uh-huh.
And it was a real tree. And finally, I opened the front door. I went to throw it out onto the front porch.
Yeah.
Every single needle
everyone.
exploded back into the living room.
Oh, no.
And then I just stuck it on a boulevard out in my front yard.
Yeah.
And then 2 friends of mine came by for something or another, and they torched it. Which was awesome. I mean,
bet it was.
It went up like right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't suggest you do that route.
Yeah, I don't know what the legalities are of that. But
if you're going to do it in the neighbor's yard.
I did get rid of my tree without having to haul it anywhere.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Wow.
So there you go.
That's cool.
That's what I've got. Yeah, the Christmas tree thing was weird this year. They've sold out of them. There were some tree lots in town that were actually out of trees and closed like a week or two before Christmas even.
Yeah.
It was pretty strange.
Well, there were more people home more often, so I think there were people that put up a real tree that don't usually do that, so I think that's part of it. But now it's time to take them down.
Yeah, and when you do drop them off also, it's not like they get a bunch of crew out there helping you out. You're kind of on your own with this.
Take the ornaments off first.
Take the ornaments off, and also if you have bagged your tree, get rid of that bag too before you drop it and take that with you. This isn't this isn't a landfill. It's just for
trees.
For trees. So.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, thank you for the update, sir.
Absolutely.
I did share a link to all of the tree information that he had on our Facebook page yesterday. So they sent that over the weekend, but I posted it yesterday. You can check it out. Dan, thank you for that. We'll have some entertainment news to get to here in a bit. And I did not work on a new bright spot of news for today, but I'm going to air one that aired over the weekend. It's about It's a Wonderful Life. It's a little 5-minute thing. That,
fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's really kind of a cool thing. So that's going to be on one more time today. So we'll have that coming up here in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris.
Want to save money? Take the bettercreditcards.com challenge. It's simple and free, and you could save money every single month. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and see what you get for points or perks. Then go to bettercreditcards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you get a better credit card. Do it today. bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for your bright spot of news, brought to you by Paul's Designer Showroom on Lake Lorraine in Sioux Falls. They can brighten any room with a beautiful light fixture. We're going to brighten your holidays right now with an amazing story that you might not know.
What do you know about that? Merry Christmas!
This time of year, you can't flip through the channels without coming across a little movie called It's a Wonderful Life. We actually just watched it on Amazon Prime. For the first time in my life, I watched it in color. This movie stars a guy by the name of Jimmy Stewart. Now, here's the wonderful story that you might not know about It's a Wonderful Life. Just a few months after winning his 1941 Academy Award for Best Actor in a movie called The Philadelphia Story, Jimmy Stewart, one of the best-known actors of the day, left Hollywood, and he joined the U.S. Army. He was the first big-name movie star to enlist in World War II. Now, he was an accomplished private pilot. He was 33 years old at the time, and he became a U.S. Army Air Force aviator. He earned a second lieutenant commission in early 1942. With his huge celebrity status and huge popularity with the American public, he was assigned to star in recruitment films and go out and attend rallies and train younger pilots. But Jimmy Stewart didn't want to do that. He wanted to fly combat missions in Europe, not spend his time stateside.
I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world.
By 1944, frustrated and feeling the war was passing him by, he asked his commanding officer to transfer him to a unit deployed to Europe. His request was granted.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Stewart, now a captain, was sent to England, where he spent the next 18 months flying B-24 Liberator bombers over Germany. Throughout his time overseas, the U.S. Air Corps top brass tried to keep the popular movie star from flying over enemy territory. But Stewart would hear nothing of it. Determined to lead by example, he bucked the system and assigned himself to every combat mission he could. By the end of the war, he was one of the most respected and most decorated pilots in his unit. But his wartime service came at a high personal price. In the final months of World War II, he was grounded for being what's called flak happy. Today we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. So when he returned to the United States in August of 1945, Jimmy Stewart was a changed man. He'd lost so much weight he looked sickly. He rarely slept, and when he did, he had nightmares of planes exploding and men falling through the air screaming. In one mission alone, he'd lost 13 planes and 130 men, most of whom he knew personally. Jimmy Stewart was depressed. He couldn't focus. He refused to talk to anyone about his experiences in the war. His acting career was all but over. One of Stewart's biographers put it this way: every decision he made during the war was going to preserve life or cost life. He took back to Hollywood all the stresses he had built up. So in 1946, he got his big break. He took the role as George Bailey, the suicidal father in a little movie called It's a Wonderful Life. The rest, as they say, is history.
Merry Christmas, you wonderful Billy and Lou!
But what you may not know is actors and crew on the set realized that in many of the disturbing scenes, George Bailey unraveling in front of his family or at the bar,
Dear Father in heaven,
Stewart wasn't acting. His PTSD was captured on film.
I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me,
Despite Stewart's inner turmoil, making the movie was therapeutic for the combat veteran. He would go on to become one of the most accomplished and loved actors in American history. When asked in 1941 why he wanted to leave his acting career to fly combat missions over Nazi Germany, he said, "This country's conscience is bigger than all of the studios in Hollywood put together. And the time will come when we'll have to fight." While fighting in Europe, Stewart's Oscar statue was proudly displayed in his father's Pennsylvania hardware store. Throughout his life, the beloved actor always said his father, a World War I veteran, was the person who had made the biggest impact on him.
A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
Jimmy Stewart was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1985, and sadly we lost Jimmy Stewart in 1997 at the age of 89. So as you flip through the channels this long holiday weekend, you'll probably see a little movie called It's a Wonderful Life.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right.
Whether you watch it or not,
That's right.
in black and white or in color,
Attaboy, Clarence.
I hope you'll remember the wonderful man who made a sacrifice, Jimmy Stewart, and all of the men and women who gave up so much to serve their country, many of whom are serving right now, and they're missing Christmas with their family. To each and every one of them, and to you, Merry Christmas from Sunny Radio.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Time now for entertainment news of the day with Mr. Dan Farris.
Fabulous. So over the long holiday weekend, if you're like me, you consumed probably a little too much television. And
Yeah.
with a lot of holiday programming. At one point, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, A Christmas Story, which I do love, that movie, I had it on between 5 and 6 different channels at the same time.
No kidding.
But yeah, it was like just absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across this little fact about that movie, which I thought was kind of fun. Now, Peter Billingsley stars as the kid in A Christmas Story.
He's Ralphie. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Ralphie, and he was at age 12. And he was sharing some behind-the-scenes stuff, a recent interview with Dan Patrick, actually. The Scene with Dan Patrick, the podcast, and discussing the movie. Okay, there's the scene where Ralphie is daydreaming.
Yeah.
And he's got the new BB gun, and he's all dressed up
Right.
as the sheriff.
Yeah.
With the big hat with the star on it and everything else, and he spits tobacco.
Yeah.
The prop man, now again, this kid's 12.
Yeah.
The prop man actually gave him real chewing tobacco.
Oh my gosh.
Which no one knew. And here's Ralphie in the scene. He ended up sicker than heck.
Oh, I bet he did.
Had to lay down for the better part of an hour.
Oh, I bet he did.
So the directors go, "What's wrong? What did you give him?" And he like holds up a bag of Red Man or something.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
a 12-year-old kid.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to be accurate.
And so they ended up on retake, some mixture of something having to do with raisins and chocolate and stuff that
Right.
looked like tobacco when he's going
Right.
to spit it, but that just kind of cracked me up. So yeah,
Wow.
just thought when you watch that scene, pay close attention because Ralphie's about to go down for the count.
That's awesome. Last year on Christmas Day, we spoke with Scott Schwartz, who was in that movie. He's
the one
Flick.
who gets the triple dog dare with
Yeah.
the tongue
Yes.
on the pole.
So one of the things I asked him is, how did they do that? Was that really, on a flagpole? And it was not. It was actually, it was like suction. So they had like a suction thing. There was a little hole drilled in the pole, and when he stuck his tongue on it, it stuck to that. And so that was his real tongue. Because I always wondered, is that your real tongue? Is that a rubber tongue you're biting onto it, or how? But it was his real tongue, but it was not a real frozen pole.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, that makes more sense. Yeah.
And I thought it just coincidentally worked out because Scott is a friend of ours. He happens to be a Jewish man, and he's the kid Flick there. And he was my guest last year on Christmas. And this year my guest was Bruce Valanche, who also happens to be Jewish. So I had 2 Jewish people, each a guest on Christmas, one year after another. So
it just makes sense.
I don't know who my guest will be next year, but
absolutely makes sense. Yeah,
it made no sense.
Yeah, little Peter Billingsley, little Ralphie, as the sheriff, he actually did end up throwing up.
Did he really? Oh.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
And the director just took off after this prop guy.
I'll bet.
Goes, what, you gave him Redmond?
Exactly.
He's 12. What are you doing?
Not good.
Well, thank you for the update, sir. I appreciate it a bunch.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a little fun moving forward when that movie's on 27 of the channels I have.
Exactly.
Wait for that scene and chuckle a little bit.
Absolutely. It is the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Mr. Dan Farris, brought to you by SiouxEmpireJobs.com.
Want to save money? Take the BetterCreditCards.com challenge. It's simple and free, and you could save money every single month. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and see what you get for points or perks. Then go to BetterCreditCards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you get a better credit card. Do it today. BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, December 28th, 2020. The S&P 500 made a modest gain on Thursday to close out the holiday week with barely any movement at all. The broad market index appears to be waiting for its next cue, and that could come at any time. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and NASDAQ Composite both closed in a similar position, with all 3 trading at recently set all-time high levels. This week, traders need to be on the lookout because the market might not stay so quiet. The stimulus bill is headed to President Trump's desk, but that doesn't mean he'll sign it. And even if he does sign it, the market could be faced with a sell the news event. Key events for the week that are not politically driven include the Chicago Purchasing Managers Index, pending home sales, and initial jobless claims. Remember, you can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.